right, guys, welcome back. It's time for our second hour of 8 Bits. We went through our now playing, and we kind of continue that as the big game this week is undoubtedly Grand Theft Auto 5. Real quickly, JP, we talked a little bit about how much money it made right off of the bat, but we also just can't forget that Grand Theft Auto 5 actually broke esports this week on Twitch. Like, literally for the past year, there has very rarely been a game that has not been at the top, that has not been considered a esports title, whether
Hearthstone
this is League
didn't
of
break
Legends. Hearthstone did not.
Wow.
No, very, very close. But Grand Theft Auto 5 did it for a while, too.
Yeah.
For a while.
It had some crazy viewership, man.
It did.
I think Nade Shot hit 25K. Was it? Or it might have been that 200-hour stream. There were some crazy numbers for it.
Yeah, there were some wild numbers.
I think overall it was hitting like 75K is the most I saw. I've been streaming it. I streamed it Tuesday, Wednesday, and yesterday. 11 o'clock till about 5 or 6 in the afternoon. So yeah, let's talk about the actual game. Why don't we do this? Why don't we start off and you can ask me anything about GTA 5 and I'll answer.
Okay, great. So one of my big problems in Grand Theft Auto 5 is the fact that I feel like the game gets incredibly monotonous.
You mean GTA 4?
I mean, like in other GTA games,
gotcha.
I feel like I have to deal with this level of monotony that really makes me not want to keep going. I'm also very much like an ADD gamer, so like while I can focus on doing a story, if shit catches my eyes and I go off and start doing other things, and then I will kind of get bored. This is what I call the Assassin's Creed. Syndrome. So how does Grand Theft Auto 5 break that up for someone like me who's had this issue with the game in the past? And does it? Because I kind of feel like it does with the 3 characters, but I have to feel, I feel like you have to tell me from your experience with the game.
So the ADD thing is still there. Because I definitely had that, like, oh, let's go over there and do that, and then as you're driving, literally a random event will happen where someone gets robbed, and you can either choose to help that person out by killing the person and getting the money back, or just letting it happen. But then you can go back on your way and do whatever you want. So the ADD thing is still there, but I think the story and the missions within the game and the other silly shit that you can do. For example, I'll just kind of give you an example of the game. There are these assassination missions, right? And in the quest dialogue, it gives you you're usually assassinating someone who is like the CEO of a certain company. And every company, just like in real life, has a rival company, right? And one of the things you can do in the game is play the stock market.
Right.
Which I am a huge crack addict for right now, because I'll do this assassination mission, and there's a lot of like sarcastic names and everything. So Merryweather, which is the security firm in the game, is the rival of Group Sex, which is another security.
Of course.
Yeah. And it actually, I think it stands, the acronym is like GPU, maybe, or GUP, I think, which is like the SWAT team of Germany or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's GMU. Anyways, so what it does is it's like, okay, you're going to assassinate the CEO of Merryweather. And in the quest, it's in the setup text, it's telling you, like, if anyone were to make some big stock purchases in Group Sex right now, you'll make a lot of money. And so then I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to buy every stock that I can in Group Sex, do the mission, and then watch the stock go crazy and buy that and then
Right.
sell it for like 50% profit. So that's what I've been doing a lot. So I'm pretty rich right now in the game. But money doesn't have too much of a factor in the game. The missions in the game are you can really tell where 300 million went. The polish on this game is fucking insane.
Really?
I have not played a mission that is similar to the one prior or any other mission in the game. For what I can recall, the entire game, like every mission is unique. And every mission is written, the dialogue for it, the voiceovers in this game are, I think, some of the best in any game I've ever played.
All right, let me ask you something else about how much driving is there?
There's a lot of driving. There is a lot of driving. There's a lot of bullshit, like, oh, we gotta go over to the north of blah 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 and get up there and blah 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 blah, and then you like open up your GPS, you set the waypoint, and then you drive up there for a minute or two.
Okay.
You can take cabs and you can skip to the mission for like $5 extra or something like that. It's really cheap. There's a shit ton of driving, but the driving is a lot better than it was in GTA 4. GTA 4 was like so fucking squirrely. It was terribly handled. Everything handled like you were on ice. The driving in this game handles a lot better. The flying in this game and for the helicopters and airplanes is not that good.
Okay.
It's a little bit squirrely still. But the actual driving is great. Actual driving is a lot. It's really, really fun. The other thing, to go back to the dialogue, the characters in this game, Michael, the guy, the kind of middleweight guy who was out of the heist business, is now back in it. He's great. Franklin, who is kind of the up-and-comer that kind of looks at Michael as kind of like a father figure, a pseudo-father figure. He's cool, but star of the show has to be Trevor. He's probably one of the best written characters I have seen in a video game in a very long time.
Really?
And his voice acting is incredible. Like, it's just I can't even compare it to any other game.
Which one is Trevor?
He's the meth fiend, the crazy kind of
The guy that has the tattoo that says "cut here."
Yeah, the crazy hillbilly guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the half balding one.
Okay, that's awesome.
He's an awesome character. He's kind of bipolar in some scenes that's never really spoken about, but like he'll be your best friend, and then the next line of dialogue is about how he's gonna fucking kill you and fuck your mother and piss on her corpse. Like, it's really fucking, his dialogue is completely batshit insane, and so is his character.
Talk to me about controls, because that was also a big thing. You know, like I always wanted Grand Theft Auto to feel better in shooting because you were doing so much of it. And I feel like that's one thing that people have credited the game with, is that like really refining those controls a little bit and making them feel like how I think as a gamer I want them to feel. Is that accurate, or what's your take on it?
Controls are, like I said, the driving's really good. Character control when you're just walking around feels good. The gunplay, since I'm playing on a console, it does have some, it has a lot of assisted aim, so much so that you can basically hit the left trigger and it'll just go from person to person to person to person until you run out of bullets. You're still able to use the right trigger to like get a headshot or go for the body shot. But I'm okay with that because I never really did enjoy the gunplay that much in GTA 4. I thought it was probably one of the weaker points. And I thought the story was kind of bland in GTA 4 as well. What's really keeping me going in this game is the look of it, and also just the stories, because the story in the game is so well done. And the way that these three characters kind of meet together on these heists is very, very well done.
How does the character switching really come into play?
Oh, I mean, you can do it whenever you want. Like, you're just walking through the world as Michael, and you're like, well, let's see what Trevor's doing. Hold down bottom on the directional pad, hit right on the right analog stick, you click Trevor, and basically it just zooms out on your character, goes over to the other part of the map, wherever Trevor's going to be. You never know. Like, you don't know what the other characters are doing until you switch to them. zooms down, and then it can be Trevor in the. For one example, I switched to Trevor yesterday, and he was sitting in the middle of a train track drunk, and there was a train coming straight at him, and he like barely misses the train by like half a second.
Now, do you
Lives.
take control?
You take control of Trevor like after that little sequence.
Okay. Wow,
like
that's
it's
actually
fluid. There's
that's
like no loading or
crazy.
anything. And so then I will switch to Franklin, and Franklin will be talking to two of his homies, and they're about to go do a drive-by or something like that. So then you can either hop in the car and go do the drive-by, or just say fuck off and not do it at all.
Right. Right.
And that part is really well done. Like, it's crazy to see that. When you're in missions, it's pretty easy. It's basically just like changing characters in a Mass Effect, so to speak, where like one guy will be up at a vantage point with a sniper rifle and a rocket launcher looking down on everything, and you can switch to him. Or one guy will be on the low ground, fending off people with like an M4, and then the third guy will be off in the side in a getaway car that you then have to switch to and drive over to this point to pick the other two guys up, and then you drive away as three. Just small shit like that. You can swim in this game. You can go underwater.
Right. I was looking at some of those pictures, which look.
And there's deep sea diving.
That's crazy.
And I like one thing that I haven't done yet is I want to just hop in a submarine and go look at the ocean floor. Because like there's got to be hidden shit in there, right? They wouldn't just leave that entire space open. So I really want to see what that looks like. There's just so much shit to do in the game. I think I've spent like 35 hours in it, and I'm only 45% done with the complete game.
God, do I just get it? Okay, so all right, I got a few more questions.
Okay.
What don't you like about the game?
What don't I like about the game? Like I said, the flying controls are somewhat troublesome. To give an example, let me put a controller. So L1 and R1 can be used to turn the plane left and right, or the helicopter left and right. The left analog stick can use to basically flip the plane, but it's really squirrely. And L2 is to make it slower, R2 is to speed it up. It's kind of weirder than the right analog controls the camera. It's not as tight as I would like it to be. It doesn't feel that well tuned.
Okay.
What else don't I like? Getting away from the cops is still fucking annoying. And the fact that it takes forever sometimes. And it's not that my stream chat would believe or lead you to believe that it's because I'm bad at it, but it really just takes a long fucking time to like drop cops to get them to go away. What else? I'm trying to think of like some other huge annoyances. I mean, you do drive a lot. That's kind of, especially after just playing Saints Row 4, where you can go from like one side of the world to the other without a car in like a matter of seconds, just because you have superpowers. That's kind of shitty because you do have like these long streaks of driving. What's nice though is that they fill it with dialogue that is funny,
right?
And it's super interesting to hear. It fills in a lot of the backstory. There's a lot of funny one-liners, most of them with Trevor, but just silly shit like that, and like phone calls will come up randomly throughout the game. Other than that, I really don't have any super bad. I mean, if you want to touch on this, I don't know how much we'll say about it, but the game's very racist. It's casually racist, and they touch on that a lot. And of course, there is a lot of like sexist comments. Like there's a radio ad that's basically talking about how you can piss on these women, do whatever they want because they have no self-respect. Blah blah blah.
Of course.
So if that gets to you, like it's done in a way that I found it funny because it was sarcastic, or at least that's what I thought they were going for. But I could definitely see how people would be offended by that.
Well, I mean, like they've always presented their universe as sort of wacky. Obviously, it's kind
there
of
is a torture
scene
that is very hard to get through. I found it incredibly hard to watch. Super graphic. You're basically choosing toys to torture this guy with, and just doing fucked up shit to him. So yeah, I don't know. I see you still kind of typing in the chat and whatnot. Still unsure of getting it. If you're
Well,
gonna
I mean,
finish it.
someone's like, I don't know why we would be sort of on the fence about this, and I mean, it actually sounds like that I shouldn't necessarily look at it from the gameplay that is probably the reason why I would deter and more think about like the story and sort of the whole concept of the three characters is one of the things that I love.
Yeah,
So I mean,
it's
like,
beautifully done.
people should actually see that my concern is like a back and forth. It's like the devil and the angel on my shoulder saying like, "Get it, Wheat? You know you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
it." And,
yeah.
like you'll only play 4 hours of it and then you'll give it up. And so that's one of the reasons why. Like the fact I'm not just like, "No, fuck it, I won't get it." Blah blah blah. That would be the indication that I'm not all up on it.
It's
But
a great game.
all right,
And
so I've here's the other thing. Like,
okay.
so I've heard some people talk about disk versus download versus install, and I read the thing about the 360 hard drive install, and then I read some stuff about PS4, the streaming of it, like from the disk, and like what's the best way to experience this game?
Well, I played on the PS3. It does have a 8 gig install when you boot it up. It's only a
right.
single disc because it's a Blu-ray, but I haven't had any issues with it. Zero issues on the actual gameplay. It loads fine. It's a little slow. I have heard complaints of like textures on the 360 not popping in, but I think maybe that got resolved. I saw the issue with it streaming. I didn't understand what was that with a digital purchase on the PS3. Was that what that was about?
For both versions, digital only has more pop-in than disc because disc uses the hard drive and the disc at the same time. Okay, so maybe I'd get the disc.
Yeah, I would definitely say grab the disc. I played on PS3, like I said, and I didn't notice any issues at all. And the install takes about 30 minutes, maybe a little less.
Okay.
I have the 80 gig PS3 with backwards compatibility, so it's a fucking old PS3, and it still ran fine. I cannot. I mean, I don't really have to suggest the
All
game
right,
because
you
it's too good.
assholes. All right. I'll get it for PS3.
I think you should just grab it.
Son of a bitch.
It's a good game, man. And you just stream it. You can make your money back from the stream.
I actually have never streamed a PS3 game.
You got the HDCP strippers, so
Yeah.
it should be good to stream it.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that shit.
It's good. It's a good game.
All right. Let's keep going. I'll let that fester a little bit, which I'm sure will be a lot. All right, so we have some other breaking news before we talk about some of
It's
the
like a breaking teaser, is what it is.
breaking teaser, if you will. Valve teasing 3 big announcements next week. This came from Jeff Keighley's Twitter.
Well, it's also on store.steampower.com/livingroom.
Oh, okay. I just thought that was one of the things that they were announcing.
The Steam universe is expanding in 2014. It's got a blue thing.
What the shit is this, JP?
And it's got 3 timers, which is a circle, the circle with the box on it, and then circle plus circle is the last one. And then it's got a cat with a controller. So one of them Steam Box, obviously.
Right.
Is the other one Half-Life 3? Coming to you live on a Steam Box? Like, is that going to be how they sell that game?
Is that just like how big of motherfuckers are they by just like,
oh yeah,
like,
Valve's a
we
fucking
have
bunch
2
of assholes.
announcements, and Gabe's like, no, oh no, just let them know we have 3. We'll figure something out. Just like pull at the heartstrings, make them feel the emotion that potentially next week we might actually announce Half-Life 3. I don't know.
Or did they only announce 2 and be like, we forgot what the third one was or something? Like,
What do you think about the symbols?
I don't know. I think that first one's probably a power on button, maybe.
Okay. What's the second
And I
one?
think the second one is talking about what could be inside of that box. potentially a game, so maybe that's Half-Life 3. And then what happens when you combine the game and the box together? I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know what the goddamn symbols are. I'm sure that I think NeoGAF has already crashed like 4 or 5 times. So
What's with this cat?
Yeah, the cat's there too.
There's a cat, and then there's a fucking. It's gonna be called Steambox, codename Kitty.
Or Whiskers. It could be Whiskers.
Whiskers. Welcome to Steve's console.
Whiskers. And that controller has 3 buttons on it, so maybe it.
Oh my god.
I don't know, dude. Fuck Valve. Like this. Fuck you, Valve. This is what we're talking about right now. A fucking announcement of an announcement.
Yeah, we are. Bastards. All right, well, we'll obviously be keeping a close eye on that. Next week we'll talk all about it.
Yep.
Let's talk about Tokyo Game Show, which has not been as amazing as one would think a Tokyo Game Show might be.
Yeah. We were talking about that prior to the show. Like, Tokyo Game Show, and I think it's really just Japanese culture, has cared less and less about console games and have just shifted focus to mobile games and, like, the DS. And even the DS is... I read somewhere, heard somewhere that, and I don't know who told me this, but maybe someone can confirm in the YouTube comments or here in the Twitch chat. I was told that in Japan, console gamers are not... It's not the norm anymore. It's not popular or cool to be a console gamer. It's looked at as being, like, incredibly nerdy. And that, like, the cool thing to do now is to play it on your mobile. Not even, like, a DS is looked at, like, as a kid's thing, as a kiddie thing.
I don't know. I don't know what the current meta is over there. With
and
that
so
shit.
that's why when you look at TGS, like, there's big game announcements, but the thing that they're really focusing on is, like, all this mobile shit. But there have been some cool stuff to come out of it. Like, we're getting our Final Fantasy 15 trailer with some new stuff in it, new story in it. That looks great. Deep Down Gameplay, which is Capcom's title that was teased at the PS4.
Yeah, which kind of is looking like Infinity Blade a little bit.
It's kind of. I mean, I liken it to be Dark Souls with Monster Hunter.
Sure.
It looks fucking awesome too.
It does look amazing. It does look really
fighting
amazing.
a dragon, and he freezes time and casts like 4 spells, and everything's frozen. Like every dust particle animation, everyone's locked in.
It looks sweet.
And he casts these 4 fireballs, and then all 4 of them go off at once and like hit this dragon, and then the dragon dies. But it's also got Assassin's Creed shit in it because apparently this is all like in virtual reality.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with that as well. It definitely looks interesting, but it feels sort of like a really cool tech demo, and I hope the gameplay is just awesome.
Yeah. You saw the Evil Within trailer.
I did. So of course they're touting it as like from the father of survival horror, finally a game. And it's funny because it takes place in an asylum, and it looks like it's got a cross between some creepy asylum shit and some like weird Japanese monster shit. But it's really funny because one of the shots that they show in the trailer looks almost identical to the famous dog hallway of Resident Evil where the dog pops out of the window. And it's an iconic moment. So this looks very much like it feels like his game. In terms of like survival horror, Resident Evil is so ahead of its time, and you play it now and you're like, people thought this was scary at one point, but it did a really good job of sort of setting a stage for what survival horror would come to be. And
wait, you show someone the fucking door thing where the dog jumps through the door at the start of Resident Evil, people still be scared.
They might, and of course it's been remade in a few versions as well.
Sure.
But I really wonder if he can pull off some of those same feelings and emotions that he was able to invoke in Resident Evil. All the way down to some of the shitty voice acting and script writing that there was, because that shit was hilarious.
At the time, we thought it was rad.
Yeah.
But it was fucking hilarious looking back.
Where's Barry? I think he's okay, well, let's check out the next room. It's just like, wait, what?
I still remember Jill, the master of lockpicking.
Yes.
Is the famous line
Yes,
from
Jill, the master of lockpicking.
that. Or unlocking, or yeah, that's
Unlocking.
What it was. That's what it was.
But it's good shit. The first time you see that zombie in the full motion video plays, you're like, oh shit, I'm in for a ride.
Yeah.
Can he duplicate that? I want to hope yes, but it looks like he's got some scary monsters planned and looks kind of good. So
Yeah, and that's another evil within Capcom as well.
yes, it is.
Capcom having a pretty big show over there.
Yeah. What do you think about the Final Fantasy 15?
I'm still as fucking excited as I was when they announced and showed another trailer at E3. Like,
I am too. It looks awesome.
Wait,
dude.
I play Kingdom Hearts and I'm like, fuck, man. When Square makes a good game, they make a fucking good game.
Dude.
And they fucked up so bad with Final Fantasy 13 that I hope they fucking redeem themselves. It looks awesome. It looks great.
So
it's got to be a good game, man.
Let's see. There was one of my absolute. Oh, it's right here. One of my absolute favorite scenes of all time in a video game is Final Fantasy VIII: The Battle of the Gardens. And in this battle, there's like a ton of shit going on at once. And like I always used to say, God, I wish I could like play what was, you know, like what was
it a
actually
cutscene
it was a cutscene, but then they also, I'm trying to see if this is the right cutscene. But what happens is like there are all the this isn't. I don't think. Yeah, so there's all sorts of just like fucking just crazy shit going on. And at one point the idea is that there's these two floating schools that are like battling one another. And so they, you know, one of the gardens actually attacks the other one. And at one point, like Squall and Renoa actually get on the Blanc garden, and they're like running through this giant scene of like there we go, like people fighting with gunblades and like launching fireballs at each other and like all just sorts of crazy shit. And like keep in mind on the PlayStation 1, like this was amazing. I was like, and you don't see it right now, but Squall and Renoa are actually running through because that was like done in real time. And I'm like, when will the day come where like I will be experiencing this, you know, one piece of like that battlefield right there. And I loved that moment so much. And I look at Final Fantasy 15 and that's what I fucking see. I just see like nonstop craziness going on and I'm just at the center of the action. So, yeah.
That's what the trailer they put out was, kind of a story trailer more so than a gameplay. It had some gameplay in it, but it was all stuff we had already seen. But they show like the Leviathan attacking that city, and in real time, like in the background, Leviathan's fucking everything
right,
up.
Everything up.
And you're running through in real time, watching all this happen in the background, and those are those moments that it's like, man, Square Enix makes a pretty good game, but they've just, it's so hard, man. Like I want that game to be so good. I hope it's so good. I hope
it's awesome too. I can't wait.
So we'll see. That one's got me nervous. They still haven't even said when it's coming out. So probably 2015 at this point.
It might be. I hope it's before then, but yeah. Okay. Random news shit. So some quick Steam updates. Steam has talked about their family sharing, which is like for me amazing because now I can like share my library with my son and not have to buy duplicate games all the time. And also, Dota 2 adds LAN, which is not something we hear very often these days.
Fuck?
Yeah, just kind of.
They made that announcement yesterday, and I was just looking at what was it? First Blood, I think, was the update that was released in. I was just like, huh. Well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And then I saw the Steam family sharing thing, and I was just like, huh. That's kind of interesting. Like, they do these things where it's like they steal other people's badly marketed ideas
Yeah, but it's something I think people have been asking about for a long time. I mean,
Yeah,
for those that
yeah.
don't know, it's like it's very simple. So like I can put mini-wheat on my Steam family. And then on his list, he sees my games. He can install these games, he can play them. He has his own cloud saves. Now, if I want to play a game, then I kind of kick him out. It gives him the ability to shut down. But this is great for me because there
That's
is a
awesome.
lot of stuff that I buy that he might not play now, but might play later on. I don't want to just, let him log in with my Steam account all the time. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love it. All day. All day. It's God, this makes me spend more money, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you get in the group for it yet?
Mm-hmm.
You opted in? I think they were only doing like 1,000 people in
Yeah, there
September.
was like 60,000 or some shit on that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's cool to see that. I think they answer pretty much everything that you could possibly want to know about it in their FAQ and how it'll work and all that stuff. So it's really good to see kind of digital rights when it comes to the content that you purchase kind of moving forward in that way and start thinking about that and see companies kind of start messing with it because it is a little bit crazy when we buy all this shit 20 years from now, like, will we still have access to all this shit, you know?
Yep.
So it's interesting to see that. Uh,
Yep. That
some other
is
stuff. Did you play any of the Persona games? That's how I'll start this off.
no, no, yeah,
You know what
like
they are, though,
sort
right?
of. Yes, of course, of course.
Well, Sega bought Atlas for 14 million, I think, is how much it
Right, right,
was.
right.
This has me scared as shit, Wheat, because Sega's notoriously been bad about bringing games over to the West for localization and all that shit. So now everyone's really wondering, like, what does this actually mean for Atlas? Like,
Yeah, what do you think
will
it
we
means?
never see a fucking Atlas game over here in the U.S. again? I hope not.
Hmm.
Sega also has been pretty shitty when it comes to content creators on YouTube, and that's probably a little bit more
Hmm.
specific that a lot of people aren't thinking about. But I know a lot of people that completely blacklist any Sega game that's out there. They've also been pretty big on bringing stuff to the PC. So will we see like a Persona PC thing? I don't know.
Let me
I don't
ask you
know.
this question, playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
Will your life go on if you don't see another Persona game?
I love the shit out of Persona 3
Yeah.
and Persona 4.
Okay.
I
So
put them
you
on the
are
level of.
genuinely like
I'm worried
you
for it,
worried
yeah.
about the okay.
I
I know
think
it's
that,
popular. I'm just
yeah, I think that the Persona series took the uh, torch from Square Enix in the Final Fantasy series from like Final Fantasy 12 and on. Like that's how much I enjoy them. I think that everyone does as well. So we'll see. They've kind of teased a lot of Persona 5 stuff, but no one really knows when that'll actually be
Persona
announced or come out.
MOBA.
Yeah, Persona Mobile to even go further with the
Yeah,
M's, which is a little scary. So
they'll do something
we'll
great.
see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, let's hope the best for Atlas Games and their IP. The bad news of the week, and to follow up with that kind of piece of what could be bad news, it's unclear yet, is that Hiroshi Yamauchi, who is pretty much the father of, I guess you could say Nintendo. Some have been labeling him the father of console gaming, but I think that it's fair to say that the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Famicom were certainly uh, uh, very big players in sort of the growing and the resurgence of consoles, especially in North America. He
Yeah,
passed away at 85. I believe that it's partially just old age, pneumonia in the hospital. But yeah, I mean, this got a lot of press yesterday from a lot of industry folks as well. As gaming gets older and gamers get older, obviously this starts to kind of hit home a little bit.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's funny even to think that Nintendo at one point was, they made trading cards. It wasn't until this guy came in that they started making things like Game and Watch items and starting to think about what was beyond traditional game playing. A lot of innovation, a lot of moves made by this individual. So, a moment to celebrate, I guess, all the great things that he has done for gaming.
Yeah, he bowed out in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he really didn't have much to say about the Wii, but I'm sure he would have looked at the Wii U and that never would have been a thing. So it's definitely sad to see him go. But yeah, I think kind of like what you were saying on the same note, like as we grow older as kind of an industry together, unfortunately, we're probably going to see more of this happening.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's kind of a shitty way to look at it, but
it kind of is. But
that's how I look at it.
It's life as well. It's life as well. All right.
Indeed.
There's a little bit of PS4 news, so I'll just kind of like poop it out here a little bit.
Sure.
Then we'll talk about all of it. First off, Sony is ready for a loss, which I think we all knew, right, on the PS4 console itself, but is confident that they are going to make it back in software sales and PS Plus on launch.
Yeah.
They have recently documented how you will be able to, and this was announced a while ago, but if you purchase a PS3 version of a game, you'll be able to get for $9.99 the PS4 version. That's now been documented by Sony, so it looks like it's something that they're going to have ready, and it won't be like a last-minute thing on console launch. There's been a tweet, some semi-confirmation that the PS4 is being a bit more lenient on HDCP, and so video capturing will be much easier than it's been in the past. This, of course, is big for any streamer out there, for any video capture, creating videos, etc. And finally, the news that Sony plans to sell 5 million PS4s by March of 2014. That's 5 months from launch.
That's probably, out of all the stuff you said, I think that might be the most noteworthy because that's a lot of fucking consoles,
Yeah.
I don't know if they could sell that many. I mean, and I don't know if they could also keep up with that demand. Like, I guess if they say that, they obviously know what type of production numbers they're going to be doing, but
I don't think they make those forecasts lightly, though. So what were you going to say? You've heard somewhere what?
Well, I read somewhere that, and I wish I knew this because it's kind of a silly thing to say without a quote, but someone was saying that they, I fucking forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
About 5 million PS4s, and then you didn't know if they could do it. Okay.
My memory's going.
All right, it happens to the best of us. So
or the worst of us.
I think that they can pull it out. Now, you said stock, right? Like, let's think about it from this perspective. No one, when they released the PS1, they would not say, we're going to sell 5 million copies. When the PS2 came, or 5 million consoles, even when the PS2 came out, they're not going to sell 5 million consoles. But we are now in a world, a society, where there's that large of a potential global user base out there. So I feel like making these projections, they're not overshooting. Like, I don't see them selling 3 million after making this announcement. So with that being said, I think keeping up with stock is the one thing that will stop them from selling that many. You've got to also consider, like, the PS4 is still a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
And granted, I mean, the Xbox One will now be a Blu-ray player too, but a lot of people don't buy Blu-ray players. They just buy a PlayStation. I think that trend will continue because that's something that Sony has instilled. Like, even when you go buy a TV, people don't necessarily recommend Blu-ray players. They'd be like, well, you can buy a PlayStation 3, partially because a lot of times, like, you've got to update the firmware on Blu-rays and shit like that, and it just makes it that much easier. So,
I remembered what I was going to say. They said that and this is apparently from someone at Sony, that you can walk into a store on day one and they will have a console for you.
So they plan to have millions out.
I guess. I don't believe that for a second. There was also some other news.
We're going to try that. We're going to try that.
Yeah, there was also some other news from the Giant Bombcast. Someone wrote in that works at a Target, and I found this incredibly interesting. They said that each Target, this was a manager, I think, each Target will be getting 8 PS4s and 5 Xboxes at launch. And that
What?
if you go to a Target and look for a low volume target in terms of sales, if you say that to a manager, like what stores or is your store a low volume store, that you should probably be able to find a console right now to pre-order at Target.
Interesting.
I live in Dallas and none of them are low value. I called around. But maybe in Nebraska you might be able to find some.
Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is. No, like find that one like, brand new Target that is in a smaller town. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know.
We might have to test that theory on
I
the
do want to
website.
test that theory. I do want to
Just
test
go
that theory.
around.
But think about 8 PS4s and 5 Xbox Ones per Target. That doesn't seem like that much, man.
That seems like we're releasing 10,000 consoles on launch day. It'll be awesome. I don't know about that. Um, I guess on the other ones, yeah, you're right. The 5 million is the biggest one. The HDCP thing, we're going to find out real quick once the console's out.
Yeah,
but
I'm not that worried about that.
I'm not that worried about it either. The PS3, PS4 thing's kind of cool, and obviously we expected them to take a launch. So we're going to be getting a lot more news as we get closer. We're about 2 months away from, in fact, less than 2 months away to actual to launch, and it's exciting.
Close, man. It's close.
It's exciting.
Crazy.
So I've got to show this video, man. LucasArts, they want to change the way they make things to eliminate post-production process, right? You guys remember that 1313 footage that came out a while ago and everyone was like, what? This is fucking crazy. I want to show a little bit of this video because this shit blew my mind.
All right, I'm going to go get new tissues.
Okay, you get new tissues. So I'm going to paste this in the channel. Check this out. So, the crux of it is that, like, when you're creating things like a TV show and with special effects, you got to do a lot of green screen shooting, a lot of, like, behind-the-scenes stuff that they're doing. Yes, 1313 is dead, but the engine is not. And you're about to see here in just a second what I'm talking about. So basically what LucasArts wants to do is they want to create the ability to cut out post-production by using motion capture, and then they can utilize this in both gaming and as well as television and movie production. Now, are you ready? Let's take a look at this because you're going to see right away. Here you see, obviously, C-3PO and R2-D2, but watch what happens as you see that this is all being done in real-time motion capture. Real-time lighting, everything. They're using props. There's a stormtrooper, true physics through the engine as well. This shit is bonkers, you guys. Like, look at how amazing that looks. You would you could mistake that for a television show. Look, he's firing the gun. Guess what? Like, they put no time into the post-production of things. Maybe they shoot the scene. He's leaving fucking footprints in the sand. Like, This is the future right here, you guys.
Crazy.
Like, imagine if they could actually make a television show that always had that quality of like a Lucasfilms production every week.
And they just changed the model in like a second.
Yes. And this is all being rendered in real time. Like, it is okay. Let's just put an ad right here. All right, cool. And then, oh my gosh. Like, look, they just like how quickly they add stuff, dude.
That's crazy. Where did this come from? What, like,
so LucasArts did, like, this is a part of a special presentation they did. So a lot of people are saying, yeah, 1313's dead. This is the engine. Oh my God, look at this. They're using Star Trek controls to just like be able to change shit on the fly. Like,
that's pretty insane.
Oh, sun. We want the sun down. So,
that's like a fucking super Gary's mod right there.
I'm blown away. Here they show some of the facial capabilities that they're going to have with it all. Just quickly show this just so that you could see how amazing they can plot the points. And oh my God. Like games and stuff are just going to be so amazing in the next generation.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, this is crazy. So I'm really excited for this news. It's, before we actually see anything, it's still going to probably be a while, but gosh, this is the future.
Nuts.
Yeah. It is totally nuts. All right, one last thing, and then if we want to, if we want to take some phone calls, we can do that too. In fact, I'll throw the phone thing up right now so we can get ready. We talk about Ultima Online and other MMOs quite a bit on this show. Shroud of the Avatar is the new one by Richard.
Richard Garriott.
Yeah, Richard Garriott. And dude, if you're a fan of Ultima, you might want.
It's happening. He's hyping you up again.
You might want to check this out, dude. There's some shit in here that you're going to be like, "Whoa, that looks exactly like Ultima. What's going on here?" And so now there's an overhead view which I'm not too ecstatic about, but watch what happens when he goes in here. And what he's going to do is he's going to like basically go and he's going to like find a tree to chop down because, as you know, like collecting resources is a big part of Ultima. So I'll just like fast forward a little bit just so that you could see this right here. Like, oh my God, like this is Ultima. I'm actually looking at Ultima Online right now. Except for the fact that it says level right here.
He's doing it to you.
He's trying, man.
Don't let Garriott do it.
He's really trying, JP. This video is over on shroudoftheavatar.com. I loved Ultima Online so much that I might actually try this out. But there's bags. That's it, man. That's all I need to see.
Oh,
bags,
God damn
dude.
it. God damn it, Richard Garriott.
I know. What a son of a bitch, right?
Yeah.
Shrouded in Disappointment might actually be accurate.
What was that last MMO that he released that was terrible? It started with a T.
Tabula Rasa.
Yep, Tabula Rasa.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, dude.
That was pretty fucking...
You want to take a phone call? Let's take one. Let's
do it.
All right, we've got area code 623. Hello, welcome to 8 Bits. What's up?
Oh, this is Zach. I was just curious of what you think you're gonna, how Blizzard is taking away the auction house for Diablo 3.
Yeah,
so I want to know your opinions on that and what you think that's going to change the game and how the comedy works in the game.
Yeah, so I did read up a little bit about this because I don't know if people knew that this was coming. I actually didn't, so I might have been out of the loop on it. But I was reading some comments about people saying they were surprised that there wasn't going to be a separation of just make a world that is like just a in-game currency auction house. But it sounds like there are really issues with bots in that game and just like running and collecting. And so I feel like the decision was made more to sort of combat that, and it was unfortunately a bad decision because you think about how much delay went into the game due to the auction house.
Yeah.
So
and
I feel like I have
to. It caused on launch as well.
Yeah,
that was the main reason.
I feel like I have to support the removal of it, if it's going to improve players' experiences. But I don't know how players are feeling if they invested time and money into the auction house the way that it was intended to be used. So
yeah, like refunds are going to be in order. Like, what are they expected to do? Because people will be mad in certain areas,
Have they said anything about that? I mean, like they had to expect an outcry.
Well,
I assume you're pretty familiar with it.
Well, it's not happening until March, so it's like they got months to refine everything they're going to do. So I don't think they fully announced what they're going to finish.
Okay.
So.
Okay. But okay. Interesting. What do you think, JP? Like surprised?
I honestly think that the auction house destroyed what Diablo really is at its core, for me at least. Because it's about that loot grind, right? But who the fuck cares about the loot grind when you can not alt tab, but escape, go to the auction house, and buy the best weapon available for your level, instead of like finding it and then having that.
Yeah, like it made it so where you just want
feeling.
to spend money on getting items instead of actually grinding for anything, and that's where it came to the point. Every time I made a character, I went straight to the auction house because it made it 10 times easier to grind if I had the best gear that I could buy.
Right.
Exactly. It does suck that someone does point out the fact that like you do have to trade with random assholes now to get loot, which is kind of a solid point. Like once you get to that end game, trading does become like important if you want to try to min-max your character. But for the leveling aspect, which I think is probably the core part of Diablo, like I'm glad that it's going away.
Yeah, definitely is a good thing. I'm just wondering if they can implement like a good auction house system, maybe like World of Warcraft in some way, but I don't know if it'll work.
I mean, technically they have the technology. They just, it's whether or not the players will accept and use it. But I have to feel like they would, as long as it was implemented properly.
Yeah, and who knows? They've announced like the Loot 2.0 system that's going to be coming with the expansion, I think, right? So who knows what that'll actually be? Maybe there will be more loot available. We'll see.
All right. Thank you very much.
At least we don't have to worry about no real money auction house coming for the console systems.
Yeah, that would just be a massive cluster. So thanks a lot for your call, man.
No problem.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Guys. Bye.
Yep, bye-bye. You can reach us at 909-581-8519 or just djWHEAT Skype on Skype. Yeah, and I guess I'm not surprised. It's kind of funny because they had a slow pitch for that and they couldn't hit a home run. But you look at something like Hearthstone, and like the amount of money with so little risk has been made already with something like that. It's really just quite shocking. In some aspects that they have to shut it down. They can't figure out a better way to do it.
That's got to be it. I would think that's probably the biggest strain on their servers, in the amount of servers that they have turned on for that, right? Because that's like what I said in the call. That's what killed the launch of the game, was the auction house. They had it turned off for like 2 weeks, and then the game ran fine. So I don't know. I guess we'll never really know how much of a strain that actually is, but I'm glad that it's being removed.
What about people aren't going to use it if it's going to go away, right?
Maybe it's like the clearance right now on the auction house. Everyone's like fucking buying everything for really cheap.
Maybe
or putting things up for like $3 or $4 just to make a quick deal, I don't know. I haven't played Diablo I played it like 2 or 3 months ago, but I didn't check out the auction house. So
me neither. Someone said they made $500 off the auction house.
I know someone that made a couple. I think they made like $3 or $4 grand off the auction house.
That shit's crazy, dude.
They were like the highest Paragon level as well, so they definitely had spent their time in it.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people in chat saying they made some monies.
I made like $5, spent like probably 20, and then regretted immediately.
I made $6 on Steam. That's about it. That's my only claim to fame.
Nice.
During the summer sale, the summer sale.
The
I
most
got a
money
card
I've
out
ever
there
made,
quick.
The most money I've ever made from a video game was Dark Age of Camelot.
Oh.
And I can't say how I made money from that game, but I made a lot of money from that game.
Yeah. That's too bad. I think I gave away everything I owned in Ultima to one of the players. I probably could have turned around and sold it, but that's okay. I got friends that did make several $1,000s off of EQ, though.
Dude, I made some serious cash as a 14-year-old selling stuff in a video game.
Yeah. Got to start early, man. Got to start
exactly.
early.
I was hustling early, man. I had to get that next video card,
Yeah, exactly.
GeForce 3.
Exactly. All right. Well, we're actually close to showtime, so maybe we should actually start to wind it down a little bit. Some good discussion this week. I think that you guys convinced me that I need to go out and purchase myself a copy of Grand Theft Auto 5. So I will.
Just do it. You'll enjoy it. You'll love Trevor. It takes a couple hours to get to him, but the rest of the story's good.
Okay.
It'll be good.
I'm doing it for Trevor, man. I'm doing it for Trevor. So I'm not streaming GTA tonight because I'll be streaming Amnesia, a machine for pigs. And if it's hopefully...
What time is that starting?
Probably like later. I'm kind of... Oh, JP, are you still there? Are you sleeping robot in a blue bed?
Yes,
you are. Okay.
That's what I am.
Okay.
It knew that what is this drug called? The Mucinex Sinus Max Day had taken effect. That I will soon be falling asleep.
Oh. Well,
apparently you can overdose on this shit. I didn't realize
you can overdose on just about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, if you take, how many pills is it? If you take 12 caplets in 24 hours, you will die. And I'm at I'm at 4 right now in like 5 hours, so I'm pacing myself.
All right, good job. As long as you're pacing yourself.
Yeah.
So that will be tonight. Just watch on Twitter. I would guess probably around like 9 or 10 EST. So jot that down. I'd be saying probably about 7 hours from now. Tomorrow, though, I am super excited because the gang is back again as Roleplay Dark Heresy continues. That's on twitch.tv/djWheat. I mean, itmeJP, which is basically the same person. So,
Yep.
you know, I'll be pointing over there anyway. So twitch.tv/itmeJP. I'm really excited to continue the adventure. We just got off a huge quest, so gonna get paid, son.
Hopefully.
Gonna get paid, and I'm naked, so I needs to get paid.
Hopefully we'll make some money tomorrow. Yeah, I'm excited for that. And then Sunday, we actually got a lot of role play this week. Sunday we have our D&D role play at 1 o'clock Eastern. So it's good that those shows are kind of back on track, at least for now. Maybe not for another month. After that, we'll see how it goes, because you know how scheduling is.
Yes.
What else? So at 2 hours from now, I should be starting up my final stream of GTA 5 if I'm not asleep somewhere on the floor or really drugged out of my mind from these pills. I think I've got like 3 or 4 hours left of that, and I'm just going to finish it tonight. I'm going to play it on my new TV. I think I'm most excited about that. Because instead of a small 24-inch TV, it's going to be a giant 50-inch TV for the final of the game. So yeah, that's at 5 o'clock Eastern over at twitch.tv/itmeJP. And then, I don't know, we might play some other games this weekend with a couple of people that you may know. I don't want to announce anything because we might not even do it, but we'll see. You can look on Twitter for that. I don't know what else I think that's it.
Awesome.
VODs of this will be up immediately after we go offline on Wheat's channel if you're a subscriber.
Yep.
I'll get them posted on my YouTube as soon as possible, probably within the next hour or two, however long it takes to process. But
Word,
I
that's
think we're
it.
good.
That's a wrap, you guys. Thanks for joining us for 8 Bits versus 0.9. You can follow us at Twitter at djWHEAT, at itmeJP, also on YouTube, youtube.com/djWHEAT and /itmeJP. Tomorrow, Dark Heresy. Tonight, all sorts of shit. Just make sure you're following the channel and on Twitters, and damn it, you're going to probably find out that we're online. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. We're out of here. Peace.